You are watching No Filter with Debbie. I'm Debbie Schlussel, and these are my views and opinions. Welcome to No Filter with Debbie. I'm Debbie Schlussel, and you know what's driving me crazy? What's driving me crazy is the continued hypocrisy, the continued lies, and the continued manipulation and propaganda from government officials. And in this case, in one of the cases I'm about to show you, an ex-government official who wishes he were president. Now, as you may know, my native state is Michigan. I grew up in Michigan, and unfortunately, Michigan has been afflicted by a series of far left liberal Democrat governors. I told you about one of them yesterday, Jennifer Granholm, and she's back. Joe Biden is picking her as his energy secretary. She's a nut job. And in her place, we have another nut job in Michigan, which is Governor Gretchen Whitmer. I know you've all heard about her because she has some of the most draconian COVID restrictions in the nation. And what has happened as a result of that is businesses are dying, jobs are dying, people, senior citizens are dying, and she is a serial killer of all of them. I want you to take a look at what she did now. Look at this video she released manipulating children and using Santa.
Thank you for joining us. I'm Governor Gretchen Whitmer, and I'm really excited to be here with all of you. And I also know someone who's been really following the rules and making sure that he stays safe and the elves stay safe. And so my special guest is Santa Claus.
Hello, boys and girls. How are you?
Does anyone have a question for Santa Claus?
Santa, do you have to wear a mask?
When I'm in my workshop with all my elves, we all are masked up and social distancing.
Okay.
Hi, Santa. Hi, Santa. Should we leave out cookies and milk also some carrots for the reindeer this year?
Yes, please do. Set up carrots and cookies if you can.
We're also hand sanitizer if you're done with the cookies and milk.
That was a good suggestion.
Excuse me, Santa.
Yes?
Coronavirus in the North Pole?
Everyone has been testing negative. We're still getting tested. I think we're so far up north that it might not be getting to us, but we're not going to take any chances. We're all going to mask up. We're all going to wash our hands, and we're all going to stay 6 feet apart.
Thank you. Hi, how can we keep people safe for Christmas?
I'm telling all the people of the great state of Michigan to do.
Stay home, but call your grandparents and your cousins and your family, and it's the safest way to tell the people you love how much you care about them. This year it has to look a little bit different so we can stay safe. And I appreciate all of you doing your part. Santa, thank you so much for making time for us today.
Let's hear your best ho ho ho.
Ho, ho, ho! Merry
ho, ho.
Christmas!
Merry Christmas. Ho, ho.
Bye, everybody.
All right, those kids looked about excited as somebody that gets a piece of paper with gum stuck on it for Christmas. They were bored. They did not want to be there. They were turning all around. One kid you see is shaking her toy. Those kids clearly were given scripted questions. When you see little kids and you ask them, what do you want to ask Santa? Do you think the first question is, Santa, how can we be safe for Christmas? Or Santa, do you wear a mask? Nobody's asking Santa that. The kids are saying, Santa, I want to get Touch Me Elmo. I want to get Tickle Me Elmo. I want to get Screech Me Elmo. That's what they're asking. They're saying, Santa, I want to get Transformers. I want to get PlayStation. Can you get that for me? How about, can I get 10 gifts? None of them is asking Santa about COVID. That was scripted. Those kids did not want to be there. That was propaganda. And you know what it reminded me of when I first watched it? It reminded me of what we used to see when I was growing up, these films of what they would show kids in the Soviet Union or Cuba, one of these communist countries, China, take your pick, probably North Korea, where they tell these kids what to think. They feed them a lot of propaganda. They show them some beloved character, some actor playing the beloved character, spewing out this propaganda. Santa is in the North Pole. Now, yes, I know Santa's fictional. I don't even believe in Santa and never did. I'm Jewish, all right? We knew as kids he was fake, all right? But Santa is on a sleigh outside, all right? You don't catch COVID outside. And this is the problem. A lot of these governors are telling people they have to wear masks outside. It's baloney. It's not based in science. And they can use all the propaganda tools that they want to manipulate kids. You heard her telling the kids that they have to just call their grandparents. They can't see them. This is ridiculous. And it has to stop. And you know who paid for that propaganda actor? The taxpayers of Michigan, the taxpayers of you name it, insert the state. Wherever there's one of these kinds of dictator, far-left liberal Dem governors who thinks they are king, or in her case, Gretchen Whitmer, queen. And sometimes her makeup looks like she's a queen, but in a different sense. So this is just getting ridiculous, and it's got to stop. And parents should have resisted. I mean, that's as close, I think, as you can get to child abuse that you can perform and not get arrested, forcing those kids to be in that horrible, boring video. But she's not the only one. So there is former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie. Remember him? He ran for president a couple of times. He got soundly defeated both times. Watch this video.
This message isn't for everyone. It's for all those people who refuse to wear a mask. You know, lying in isolation in ICU for 7 days, I thought about how wrong I was to remove my mask at the White House. Today, I think about how wrong it is to let mask wearing divide us, especially as we now know you're twice as likely to get COVID-19 if you don't wear a mask. Because if you don't do the right thing, we could all end up on the wrong side of history. Please wear a mask.
All right. That guy is a huge hypocrite. First of all, you saw him. He has like 7 chins, and I think I'm being conservative in my counting there. His neck and chin, whatever you call it, we need one word for that. His chin is almost on the top of his chest. He's got so much of it. In fact, I think it is on the top of his chest. And he is morbidly obese. Now, this is a guy who had stomach stapling surgery, and clearly it didn't work. He's still eating too many donuts. So I'm going to take health advice. You're going to take health advice from the donut king of New Jersey? No, thank you. Guess what? He said that you're twice as likely to get COVID without a mask. Based on what? What is the data? Because I told you the data yesterday that showed that if you don't wash your mask, if it's used, you actually are more likely to get COVID if you wear it than if you wear no mask. So he's wrong. That's number one. But number two, guess how many times more likely you are to get COVID if you're morbidly obese and die from it? 5 times as likely. So maybe he should be looking in his mirror and saying, stop eating donuts and pasta and pizza or whatever he's ingesting in that giant roly-poly body of his. Because if you keep eating, you're going to be 5 times as likely to die of COVID than everybody else. That's the health advice he should be giving to himself. As for me, spare me. I'm healthy, I'm fit. If you're healthy, you're fit. Even if you get COVID, the chances that anything will happen to you are slim to none. 99% of the people who get COVID will only get mild symptoms and they will recover. They're not going to end up like him because he's morbidly obese. And to lie and skip over the fact that he has a major comorbidity and a major vulnerability is just that, a lie. And our governor in North Dakota and our media are doing the same thing. They won't report any more people who died based on comorbidities. They won't tell us what those are. All right, when we come back, I'll give you some more COVID news, some pictures that show us what's really going on with mask use. And also, you may be required to take the vaccine. I warned you about this. That and more after these messages on No Filter with Debbie on Beck.
Capital City Restaurant Supply is your one-stop shop for quality restaurant products for the large to small kitchens. Commercial-grade restaurant and bar supplies, limb game processing equipment, refrigeration, dinnerware, and smallware. Everything including the kitchen sink from trusted manufacturers for the chef and all of us. Open to the public since 1971, we are veteran-owned and North Dakota proud. Let us take care of your restaurant and home kitchen needs today by visiting us at 1414 Interstate Loop in Bismarck or on the web at capitalcityrestaurantsupply.com.
Hi, I'm Dennis Haugen, along with my sons Andy and Mike, and we're showing our support for wind energy in North Dakota.
Wind energy has provided farmers like us with a steady stream of income that's not tied to the weather like crops and cattle are.
Another bonus is that wind farm owners are required to maintain the roads leading up to the turbines. Because of that, oftentimes these roads are the best in the county. Wind energy is good for landowners, it's good for the land, it's good for our economy, and it's good for North Dakota.
For the greatest selection and full menu offering, it's the Four Seasons Restaurant and Ice Cream Parlor in Garrison. Succulent sandwiches, big breakfasts served all day, and delicious desserts. Easy access in and out for campers and RVs. The Four Seasons Restaurant at the top of Main Street, Garrison.
Are you a thrill seeker, sightseer, or day tripper? The Ford Bronco Sport SUV is built for you. Four Bears Casino is giving away a 2021 Ford Bronco Sport loaded with a ton of interior space, safari-style roof, smooth suspension for any terrain, and easy-to-clean surfaces. Qualify now just by playing your favorite slots at Four Bears Casino. Double points on Sundays. Also get in on Super Senior Wednesdays, slot turning Thursdays, and hot seats on Wednesdays and Thursdays. Spin into Four Bears Casino and Lodge for chances to win.
Some things in life are hard. That's why banking shouldn't be. Cornerstone Bank.
Welcome back to No Filter with Debbie on Beck. So the last few shows, I've been showing you some of the restrictions in California that are so egregious and don't make sense and have basically shut down and killed the restaurant industry. And I showed you the one guy who had his restaurant being, he and his restaurant were being harassed by public health workers, officials, because he had tables outside, then he moved them inside. That was still not enough. They shut him down. I showed you the woman who said that her outdoor dining was shut down, but Hollywood outdoor dining for a movie set right across from her, that was okay. All right, so California has the most restrictive, some of the most restrictive conditions imposed by the governor to allegedly fight COVID. Florida has none. And in Florida, you don't have to wear a mask, unlike North Dakota, where we now have to wear masks. So I want to show you this graphic comparing what's gone on in California versus there are two graphs. All right, so that's California, what has happened when he has put in all of his conditions, Governor Newsom. Mask mandates, everything. Look at how the cases have soared. Look at that. They were fairly low before all of these mandates. Look at that. Now there's another graphic, and I think we have that one, yes, comparing California to Florida. So Florida has no lockdown. They have no mask mandate. Compare California with Florida. I mean, no question. Florida has a more stable set of conditions there in terms of cases. And in terms of death, they're much lower. So mask mandates don't work. Listen, the numbers don't lie. Yes, I know you can slice up numbers however you want, but those are the cases. Those numbers don't lie. They just haven't gone up. And in California, they've gone up. And I told you how in North Dakota they keep going up. So today, I think there were 12 deaths in North Dakota, something like that. It goes up, it goes down. It goes up, it goes down. It's not steady, and it's not affected by these rules. So these rules should not be in place. You don't sacrifice your freedoms unless it's for a specific reason. And that reason has to be legit. It is not legit. So now, with regard to these vaccines, they may be required. I warned you about this. I told you that you may have to have a vaccine if you want to keep your job, especially if you work for a major corporation. And this is very, very scary. Listen to this. So, Yale Chief Executive Leadership Institute's virtual summit on Tuesday polled 150 current and recent CEOs of major companies, including leaders from Walmart, Goldman Sachs, and UPS. And they asked them whether or not they would support vaccine mandates for their employees. 72% said they were open to the idea. 72%. Show us your papers. Show us your papers. This is really, really scary. So that is now, by the way, going to be a marketing tool, I think. If I were a company, I would say, you know what? We don't require proof of vaccines. You could come work for us. That's a marketing technique. And the companies that require the vaccine, they're going to have a more limited pool of Americans, since something like half of Americans don't want to take it. Now, there were some CEOs who said that they would wait and see how the first doses of the vaccinations, what happens with them. These people are reasonable. So the CEOs of American Airlines, Duke Energy, and Yum Brands, in case you're not familiar with it, it's Pizza Hut, KFC, A&W, Taco Bell, Long John Silver's, a few others. They said that they want to see if the vaccines take effect, what happens with the first doses. They want to give it time. Those are people of reason. Good for them. So not everybody is a sheep in corporate America, and I'm glad to hear that, because they are sheep on so many other issues, so many others. Now, I mentioned California. I just want to get to this because this was a breaking news story. In San Diego, a judge ruled that strip clubs, that they could open back up for business and that the restrictions did not apply to them. And he extended it to restaurants and bars in San Diego County. So I guess it takes a strip club to stand up for people's rights. Now, it's unclear if this will affect the rest of California, but this judge defied the governor's orders. I hope we find more and more judges like that, and I hope there are judges like that in North Dakota, because what is going on with our bars and restaurants, it's ridiculous, and it's not going to work. All right, now, here's a non-COVID story, but you will be surprised by my position on this issue. So there was a Black child that is a student at a very fancy prep school. It's called Providence Day School. It's a very elite school. It's in Charlotte, North Carolina. Now, the mother, you can see her right there. She did not want her son to have to hear racist language from a book. Now, why would he have to hear that? Well, here's why. So this elitist school, and this is typical of all these elite schools, they poison the minds of kids. They're very liberal, and these white liberals are more liberal than these Black liberals, and they basically came to loggerheads with this Black family, and the Black family lost. So they decided they were going to have all the kids read this novel called Fences. Now, I saw the movie made out of this novel. It was starring Denzel Washington. This was a horrible, horrible movie. I literally fell asleep like 5 times during the movie, and I didn't miss anything. And I later got a copy of a screener in the mail, and I watched to see what I missed, and I didn't miss anything. Again, this was a horrible movie. It's about a Black family in the 50s, and it's just so depressing. And if I were Black, I would hate this movie, because basically it shows that Black life is horrible and depressing and without hope. It's a very dark movie. Plus, it's in the 50s. Who cares? We are in the 2020s, so that's 70 years ago. So they had these kids read this book, and it's filled with the N-word and all kinds of racist language. And the reason why they're having the kids read this is it's a mostly white, very rich, liberal, elitist school. And they want these kids to learn about racism by reading the N-word, by reading about this dark life, depressing life of black families. But this is what they're teaching these kids. And the mother did not want her kid to hear the N-word. And I don't blame her. Why are they teaching about racism in school? Here's what they should be teaching, and they're not. And that's why we're turning out a bunch of dummies in America. Reading, writing, arithmetic. If you can't do those, who cares if you know about the N-word? And I don't blame this mother. So listen to what happened. She's a lawyer. She complained to the school. They didn't do anything. She complained on Facebook. They didn't do anything. Apparently, she made a personal attack on one of their faculty members. I don't know what she said in the attack, so I can't defend that. I don't know what she said. But because of this, they kicked her son out of the school. How about just not read a racist book in school? How about just teach the kids basic skills? Again, learning how to read, learning how to write, learning how to add and subtract and multiply and divide. That's what they should be teaching kids. But they're so concerned with social justice warrior teaching that these kids are becoming dummies. And you know what? I'm glad her son got kicked out. It was wrong, but now her son will have the opportunity to go to a school where they actually teach kids how to think and how to do and how to learn. That's what her son and all kids need in school, not this drivel. All right, when we come back, Congress is close to a relief package, but what is in it and how much will it cost us? And also, did you know what's in Dr. Jill Biden's dissertation? A lot of drivel. That and more after these messages on No Filter with Debbie on Beck.
Jeez, what a mess. Look at that. There's roof stuff everywhere. It's so embarrassing. Ruins the neighborhood. Come on, humans. Let's get this fixed.
Don't let your roof go to the dogs. Call America's Best Contractors for your free estimate.
Need a new woof?
After checking with the rest, go with the best. America's Best Contractors. 258-2412. Online at americasbestcontractorsincorporated.com.
In southwestern and south central North Dakota, on any given day at any given moment, a Dakota Community Bank and Trust customer is logging in or signing on to do their online or mobile banking. We believe that community banking can blend both the past with down-home customer service in-house and the future with modern banking conveniences and technology for our customers anywhere, like here or here, all while honoring our long-standing tradition of community-first oriented banking here at Dakota Community Bank and Trust.
My wife was diagnosed with early stage Alzheimer's. We talked about it and we kind of decided we'd be a little bit proactive and try to start making provisions. So we started looking here, and Eventide worked out to be pretty much the perfect answer. I guess I didn't expect it to be so nice. The staff here were terrific. We enjoy it.
They say when the going gets tough, the tough get going. At OK Tire, we're here to keep you going. From Firestone tires and replacements to retreads and even Firestone tracks, we have you covered. Our certified Firestone experts are ready to get you back up and running, no matter if you're on site or in the field, saving you time and money. OK Tire, we keep the tough going.
Now is the best time to plan for your 2021 farm equipment needs. North Dakota-based Summers Manufacturing is currently offering early order savings. Take advantage of big savings on North America's broadest tillage line, including the Super Coulter Samurai and the innovative VRT Renegade, as well as the best built, best backed land rollers in the industry. Talk to your Summers dealer today or go to summersmfg.com to learn more about early order savings available on all Summers equipment.
Welcome back to No Filter with Debbie on Beck. So before the break, I was talking about some of the COVID stories and also how the masks don't work. One story I meant to get to, but I didn't, is this one. We don't know even if the vaccine will work. And here's why. Not just that the trials were too fast and that there weren't enough people in them and that we don't know the long-term effect. There's more to it. There are now 17 strains of COVID that they have discovered. 17. And they don't know if the vaccine will be able to address all of them. And in fact, they also don't know that if somebody has one of those 17 strains that the vaccine doesn't fully work on, what happens with what is left? We don't know. And that's the problem. So there are actually 17 variations. There are different changes to affect the protein structure in 17 different ways. Now there's a new strain called VUI 2020-12-01 that was first picked up in September. So we don't know if that new variant will be stopped by the vaccine. And if it isn't, then what? We're going to have a new vaccine. They're going to rush it again. This is what happens when you try to correct something that maybe isn't the problem you thought it was with something that may become a bigger problem as the solution. It may become the problem to which we need a solution. That's a problem. All right, so Congress now is finally working on this COVID relief package, this COVID aid package. Remember, I told you that Nancy Pelosi said that now that Joe Biden is elected, now she could do a big deal. Before, she couldn't do it. She was playing politics with Americans' lives and their livelihood. So now they're working on it, and the reason they're working on it, now Mitch McConnell's playing politics with people's lives and livelihood because he said he wants to get it done now because it could affect the Kelly Loeffler and David Perdue Senate races in Georgia. So, in other words, people will vote against them unless this package is passed. Now, I hate that. I don't like that we are going to have this massive spending bill to win a couple of elections. Now, I know these aren't just a couple of elections. They're very important elections because if they don't win, the Democrats will control the Senate and have Kamala Harris to boot as their tiebreaker when there are ties. And then what? It's going to be a big problem. They're going to change things forever, and Republicans may never win again. Puerto Rico gets to become a state, Washington, D.C. gets to become a state, and who knows what else. They are going to do a lot of things. They can pack the Supreme Court. They can do a lot. It's not good. So I understand why he's pushing this through, but I hate that. And what is going to be in it? So we know now there's not going to be the $1,200 stimulus check. There's going to be a $600. And AOC is telling all of her social media followers, all her robots, they just listen to whatever she says, all her groupies. She's telling them to complain that $600 is not enough. There is going to be a robust continued federal unemployment supplement, so that $400 that was put on top of $600, people are going to get that. So good luck to businesses trying to survive because nobody's going to want to work for you for minimum wage. They just won't. If you're paying them less than $52,000 a year, forget about it because that's basically what they're making with this stimulus. Now, how much is this going to cost? And we really don't know what else is going to be on here. And that is where it could be very bad. The devil is in the details. Are we going to be paying for Kennedy Center to get new chairs? This elitist theater that Nancy Pelosi and her friends go to? Are we going to be paying for things like that? Are we going to be paying for studies on how COVID affects the southeastern American dragonfly? I made that up, but that's the kind of stuff that this wasteful spending goes on. And a little drop in the bucket here, a little drop in the bucket there, and soon you're talking about a whole ocean of wasteful spending. And I'll bet you we will see a lot about that. So stay tuned, folks. As soon as I find more details, I will report them here. Now, Dr. Jill Biden. We talked about this months ago on this show. I think back in the summer, I was way ahead of everyone with this whole Dr. Jill Biden phony business. She ain't a doctor. She is, then I'm Dr. Debbie because I have a Juris Doctorate. It's just absurd. I'm not that self-important, but apparently she is. And it's not sexist to say so. Everyone's putting sexism into this. Where's the sexism? Did anyone say only women can't be called doctor who have a PhD? No, nobody said that. And her doctorate is in education. I pointed out days ago that that's what Bill Cosby had. Last night, apparently, a Fox News personality suddenly echoed what I said. He does that a lot. We did it here first on Beck. But here's the other thing. You got to look at what her doctorate was about. You don't need to read any conservative media to know what it was about. It's garbage. And here's how you know it was garbage. Look at the title. Her PhD was something about retaining students in the community college system. Who cares? Somebody's going to write a whole paper about that? Come on. The people who read that, who were the judges, they decided to give her the PhD. Well, how it goes is you have to write a whole dissertation, a long research paper. You have to have some kind of thesis, some kind of theory. I guess her theory was how to get kids not to drop out of community college. And how to get them to attend classes there. And then you have to go before a panel of judges. I guess it's like 3 people, maybe 5. They read your boring, god-awful paper, and then they ask you questions and try and get you to defend what you wrote in the paper. And even if you don't defend it very well, it's like grade inflation in college. They'll give you your PhD still. That's what she got to be called doctor. So I ain't calling her that. Who cares about how to retain students in community college? Not me. Now, Joe Biden's been talking a lot about unification, but gotta get this. Listen to this story. His top person that is in charge of talking to Congress and doing the unifying is a woman named Jen O'Malley Dillon. She was Joe Biden's campaign manager. She will be his deputy chief of staff in the White House. Here's what she said to Glamour magazine. She said that the Republicans are a bunch of F'ers, all right? F-bombers. The Republicans are a bunch of bleepers. That's what she said. And she said that Mitch McConnell is terrible. And she said, but, I'm going to try and do unity. How do you think that's going to go over with Mitch McConnell? I'll tell you something. It's not going to go over very well. All right. The bleepers. When we come back, we will talk about an ad that Breonna Taylor's mom took out. And was Governor Cuomo sexually harassing one of his staffers? That and more after these messages on No Filter with Debbie on Beck.
Howdy, folks. It's a County Line Cafe. I reckon it's time you're due for a hearty meal. So saddle up for the day with one of our Hey Bussin' breakfast homemade soups. Fill your grill at a salad bar. Sink your teeth into our famous County Line burger and barbecue ribs. Top it off with spur rattling pie with a calm roll that's sure to put a smile on even the toughest outlaws. Shake the dirt off the boots each night and warm up with the game. Tell them about it, Stacy.
I can't wait to see you at the County Line.
Since opening in Hebron in 1940, Dakota Community Bank and Trust has been your hometown bank. Our mission has been to provide modern banking convenience with old-fashioned hometown service. We've grown with the communities we serve through year-round events, countless sponsorships, and nearly 7,000 hours of volunteering each year. Learn more about our 80-year history at dakotacommunitybank.com.
Jeez, what a mess. Look at that. There's roof stuff everywhere. It's so embarrassing. Ruins the neighborhood. Come on, humans. Let's get this fixed.
Don't let your roof go to the dogs. Call America's Best Contractors for your free estimate.
Need a new woof?
After checking with the rest, go with the best. America's Best Contractors. 258-2412. Online at americasbestcontractorsincorporated.com.
For the greatest selection and full menu offering is the Four Seasons Restaurant and Ice Cream Parlor in Garrison. Succulent sandwiches, big breakfasts served all day, and delicious desserts. Easy access in and out for campers and RVs. The Four Seasons Restaurant at the top of Main Street, Garrison.
Are you a thrill seeker, sightseer, or day tripper? The Ford Bronco Sport SUV is built for you. Four Bears Casino is giving away a 2021 Ford Bronco Sport loaded with a ton of interior space, safari-style roof, smooth suspension for any terrain, and easy-to-clean surfaces. Qualify now just by playing your favorite slots at Four Bears Casino. Double points on Sundays. Also get in on Super Senior Wednesdays, slot turning Thursdays, and hot seats on Wednesdays and Thursdays. Spin into Four Bears Casino and Lodge for chances to win.
Some things in life are hard. That's why banking shouldn't be. Cornerstone Bank.
Welcome back to No Filter with Debbie on Beck. So, as you know, Joe Biden is making his cabinet appointments, and he also made a lot of promises during the campaign to a lot of people. So I told you that the Black caucus in Congress, the Hispanic caucus, they were both pressuring Joe Biden to appoint a lot of their people. And now Breonna Taylor's mother is pressuring him as well. So she put out a full-page ad in USA Today. And in the ad, it was in Tuesday's paper, she said that President Biden should open a large-scale federal investigation into the death of her daughter and other Black Americans killed by the police. Now, I told you about Breonna Taylor since the summer, since the beginning of this show. I told you Breonna Taylor was helping her drug dealer boyfriend run a drug house. There was a dead body found in her car. She was using her address for the drug dealer to pick up packages. She was laundering money for him through her bank account. We know this. That was on tape with calls between her and this drug dealer at the jail, and calls between him and other people. He wanted his money back, and he wanted to know if the cops found it after the whole shooting happened, and they didn't, because they were too busy being accused of and defending themselves against racism. So her mother took out this ad, and this is a lot of gall. If your daughter was involved in these things, you're taking out an ad, please. This is hypocrisy. It's fraud. So she wants Joe Biden to appoint Department of Justice officials with a proven record of holding police accountable. You know what that means? That means basically attacking police and calls for defunding the police. She wants to order the Department of Justice to reopen investigations into police violence not properly completed during the Trump administration. What does that mean? Not properly completed? Then she wants an ordering of large-scale federal investigations into police shootings like that of Taylor, Jacob Blake in Wisconsin, and Casey Goodson in Ohio. We told you about Jacob Blake. Jacob Blake had a record of molesting this woman, basically manually raping her, breaking into her house, stealing her car. He'd done this a few times. He did not listen to the police. He had a knife in his car. This was not an innocent person. I'm sorry, no tears for him. And then she wants Biden to launch a robust pattern and practice investigations into police departments across the country that are known to cause harm. What does that mean, and how much will it cost, and how much harassment of good police officers will it involve? Thankfully, Joe Biden is not going to listen to her. She's not going to do anything for her. Maybe Kamala Harris will, but when she's president, after she's thrown Joe Biden off the cliff. But Joe Biden's not doing anything. So she's saying, you promised us, And he did promise her. During the presidential campaign, he called for officers connected to Taylor's death to be charged for their actions. Charged for what? For trying to arrest a drug dealer who used her house as an address, and she used it to help him use that as an address for his drug operations. So she said, "You assured us that you were committed to justice for Breonna. We fought for you. Now it's time for you to fight for us." Well, you know what? He got her vote. He doesn't need her anymore. So, see ya. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, Breonna's mom. I'm sure we'll hear from her more in the ensuing years. But her daughter was a co-conspirator in a drug ring. Just, that's the way it is. Now, speaking of Joe Biden and the blacks, so I told you, he's basically appointing people on his cabinet based on, are they black? Are they Hispanic? Are they gay? So what your skin color is, where you came from, what languages your parents spoke, and who you're sleeping with. All right? So for Secretary of Commerce, he's looking at 2 women, and 2 women only, apparently. And he thinks that they're going to help his relationship with the business community. And I'll tell you what I think about that in a second. But he's looking at Mellody Hobson. That is the black woman on the left. She is the former chief. She's the former chairman of DreamWorks. I guess I have to say chairwoman, but chairman of DreamWorks. Meg Whitman, the woman on the right, is one of those Republicans against Trump, never Trumpers, who made a video for Joe Biden at his convention. She was the CEO of, I think, HP, and I think she just recently was the CEO of the failed Quibi, that quick bite thing on the phone that cost billions of dollars and has nothing to show for it. That's who he wants for Secretary of Commerce. He feels that this will help repair his relationship with the business community. Here's what will repair his relationship with the business community. Throw out the Green New Deal. Stop your baloney on getting rid of fossil fuels. Stop your baloney against fracking. Stop your baloney about increased taxes. Stop your baloney about signing the Paris Peace Accords. And stop your baloney about increasing taxes and regulation and spending. Of course, he's not going to do any of those things, so nobody cares who's Secretary of Commerce. It ain't going to do a thing. Business is going to suck up to Joe Biden, but he's not going to do anything good for them, and they're going to be sorry. All right? He's going to be terrible for business. Business can say goodbye. It's going to be a very dark next 4 years. It just is. That's the way it is when you have a far-left liberal in charge. And we talked about the Georgia race. Here's something else about the Georgia U.S. Senate race. So Jon Ossoff, he looks like a young boy, but he's the guy that's running against Senator David Perdue. Look at him. He looks like he's like 13, 14, maybe 15 or 16. He looks like he's not old enough to drink. So that guy, he is the far-left liberal running for the U.S. Senate, and hopefully he won't get it because he is very radical. One of his top staffers, Ryan Lake, who is his deputy assistant press secretary, gave money to help bail out rioters and looters and shooters and attackers. Yep, Ryan Lake gave a lot of money to the Minnesota Freedom Fund. The Minnesota Freedom Fund, I told you about this group because Kamala Harris still has a tweet up on her account from this summer where she was telling people to donate to this. This is the fund that bails out and gives lawyers and legal defense for rioters, violent rioters who are arrested by police because they attacked police or they looted and attacked and burnt businesses down. That's what Jon Ossoff stands for. Finally, for this segment, Governor Cuomo. This guy left and right is moralizing to us. He's telling the state of New York and the whole country that we should all wear masks, that everything should be shut down. He's one of the serial killers of jobs, businesses, and in fact, he sent a lot of seniors to die with COVID in nursing homes and to murder everybody else in there to get it. So he has an aide that has accused him of sexual harassment. Lindsey Boyland, she said that he sexually harassed her for years. Many saw it and why. All right, so she's worked in the Cuomo administration from 2015 to 18, and she was the executive vice president of the Empire State Development and then special advisor to Cuomo. Now, she didn't provide the details of the harassment, so I would like to know what they are. Now, he claims that he fired her. They always claim that when somebody leaves and this happens. But what is interesting about this is nobody is reporting on this. If this were Donald Trump, this would be major news. If this were Republican Governor Ron DeSantis, this would be major news. It would be at the top of the newscast. But you barely hear about it, right? All right. When we come back, we will talk about California, and they are going to be releasing some of their inmates, some of the most violent ones. It is a great time to be in North Dakota watching space. And the governor charged us how much for his legal battles? That and more after these messages on No Filter with Debbie on Back.
Howdy, folks. It's the Caroline Cafe. I reckon it's time you're due for a hearty meal. So saddle up for the day with one of our Hey Bossin breakfast homemade soups. Fill your grill at our salad bar. Sink your teeth into our famous Caroline burger and barbecue ribs. Top it off with spur rattling pie with a calm roll that's sure to put a smile on even the toughest outlaws. Shake the dirt off the boots each night and warm up with the game. Tell them about it, Stacy.
I can't wait to see you at the county line.
Hi, I'm Dennis Haugen, along with my sons Andy and Mike, and we're showing our support for wind energy in North Dakota.
Wind energy has provided farmers like us with a steady stream of income that's not tied to the weather like crops and cattle are.
Another bonus is that wind farm owners are required to maintain the roads leading up to the turbines. Because of that, oftentimes these roads are the best in the county. Wind energy is good for landowners, it's good for the land, it's good for our economy, and it's good for North Dakota.
Capital City Restaurant Supply is your one-stop shop for quality restaurant products for the large to small kitchens. Commercial-grade restaurant and bar supplies, limb game processing equipment, refrigeration, dinnerware, and smallware. We sell everything including the kitchen sink from trusted manufacturers for the chef and all of us. Open to the public since 1971, we are veteran-owned and North Dakota proud. Let us take care of your restaurant and home kitchen needs today by visiting us at 1414 Interstate Loop in Bismarck or on the web at capitalcityrestaurantsupply.com.
My wife was diagnosed with early stage Alzheimer's. We talked about it and we kind of decided we'd be a little bit proactive and try to start making provisions. So we started looking here, and Eventide worked out to be pretty much the perfect answer. I guess I didn't expect it to be so nice. The staff here were terrific. We enjoy it.
They say when the going gets tough, the tough get going. At OK Tire, we're here to keep you going. From Firestone tires and replacements to retreads and even Firestone tracks, we have you covered. Our certified Firestone experts are ready to get you back up and running, no matter if you're on site or in the field, saving you time and money. OK Tire, we keep the tough going.
Now is the best time to plan for your 2021 farm equipment needs. North Dakota-based Summers Manufacturing is currently offering early order savings. Take advantage of big savings on North America's broadest tillage line, including the Super Kohler Samurai and the innovative VRT Renegade, as well as the best built, best backed land rollers in the industry. Talk to your Summers dealer today or go to summersmfg.com to learn more about early order savings available on all Summers equipment.
Welcome back to No Filter with Debbie on Back. So California doesn't just have all these crazy restrictions because of COVID that aren't working. It also has some other things going on because of COVID that are going to work even worse. A California judge in Orange County, which used to be Reagan country, used to be the conservative Republican area of California, but this judge, Peter Wilson, sided with the ACLU and sued over their lawsuit, suing the Orange County sheriff, saying that there are too many inmates and that they're going to spread COVID, so half of them have to be released because they're vulnerable. Now, 1,800 inmates are going to be released, and they are all violent. This is not a peaceful prison. It's not one of those country club prisons. These are not white-collar criminals. They are murderers, attempted murderers, and those convicted in domestic violence. Now, 1,800 of them are going to go free on the streets of California. But wear your mask. Maybe it'll protect you from the murders and the domestic violence. Yep. Wear your mask. Don't eat out. They might be there. Speaking of somebody who's ridiculous about masks and everything else, Governor Burgum. So today came out. Governor Burgum charged, I told you were going to be paying the bill for this. Governor Burgum, who is a billionaire, charged you over $12,000 in court costs and attorney's fees to hire a private attorney to file his lawsuit, his losing lawsuit, in order to be able to appoint his own choice to the District 8 seat in the state legislature. He had no authority. It's against North Dakota law and the Constitution, and he lost. And you are the real losers because you paid $12,000 plus to do it. By the way, Governor Burgum, as I told you before, he spent almost $2 million, $1.8 million on a PAC to defeat the person who was in that seat, Jeff Delzer. He supported Dave Ondal, who passed away from COVID. We're sorry about that. He spent $1.8 million, and now guess who's back in the seat? Jeff Delzer. So what a cheapskate. After wasting $1.8 million on this losing battle that he just kept losing, now he won't chip in the $12,000? He's going to make you pay for it? None of you are billionaires. He can't say, oh, I'm going to be a good guy. I know I don't have to pay it. I know that the state has to cover it, but I'm going to cover it. Here, I'm a billionaire. $12,000 doesn't mean anything to me. I'm going to pay the $12,000 plus dollars. Nope, he's not that kind of gentleman. So remember that when he runs for re-election or for the U.S. Senate, which he is rumored to maybe want to do. Good luck with that. All right. Now, I told you about this mugshot a couple days ago, and we didn't get to it. 2 people were involved in a murder. Look at their mugshot. Look at this girl. She's smiling. She thinks it's funny. She was involved in a murder. Her name is Erin Sundby. She's 34 years old. She and Cameron Charles St. Clair, who's the guy on the right, he gets 15 years behind bars. She only gets 4 months in jail, and she got credit for time served. So no wonder she's smiling. But that was before then. And she's smiling. This is so funny to her. She was involved in a murder, and frankly, I think she got off easy. So she was involved in the murder. A woman, what happened was, a guy was with his girlfriend. The guy was the one that was murdered. His girlfriend was being catcalled from a vehicle by him, by this Mr. St. Clair. And when he went outside to protect his girlfriend, she beat the girlfriend, this woman that's smiling, and he helped another guy murder this guy, Mr. Stevens. All right? They murdered Mr. Steven murdered Mr. Steven, 33 years old. And she's smiling about that. That disgusts me. That mugshot just makes me sick. All right. Now, space viewing. It's December. This is a great month if you are a space lover. Space viewing in North Dakota. All right, so mark your calendars, the 21st. So I believe that's Monday. You pull out your telescope and you will get a rare view of Saturn and Jupiter passing closely by each other. It takes apparently under 12 years for Jupiter to rotate around the sun. It takes under 30 years for Saturn, same journey. They meet roughly every 20 years. It last happened in the year 2000. It won't happen again until 2040. Boy, that's a long time from now. And they don't always pass this close together, but because of the tilt of their orbits, they will this time, and you will get a special view. So find an unobstructed view, look to the southwest sky, and that's where you'll find the 2 planets not far above the horizon on the 21st, so Monday night. Put it in your calendars. I think this is super exciting. I love outer space stuff. Do you believe there's life in outer space? We'll probably talk about that tomorrow, and you'll be interested in my take. I don't think there's life on either of those planets, though. I just don't. We haven't seen any signs of it. Finally, tonight, I can't believe this story, but we're talking about this, and it's probably going to happen. Jake Paul. Jake Paul is a YouTube reality star. He's also an actor. He's made millions of dollars. I don't like this guy. He's super immature. He's super disgusting. He's morally repugnant. And that's why he's a YouTube star, because all of those things sell today. They make you big, they make you rich, and that doesn't say anything very positive about the country. Told you the other day about how he was called racist because he knocked out a black guy whose name I think was Nate Robinson. He was called racist for that because you can't be a black boxer and win. You have to lose. He said he is going to fight Amanda Nunes. So Amanda Nunes, who is an MMA mixed martial arts fighter. I wonder about this because here's the thing. If he beats her, it's not going to be a big deal because he's a guy and he's not supposed to beat her. But, I mean, he is supposed to beat her and he's not supposed to if he's a gentleman. But if he could win, he will. But I think she's tougher than he is. And if she beats him, that is going to be so embarrassing for him for the rest of his life. And this is the problem that kids face when they have to fight people of the opposite sex in high school and college sports, when some of them are trans and so on. It's a big embarrassment. So Jake Paul versus Amanda Nunes, will they win? I'll be watching. Maybe, maybe not. Remember, things aren't always as they seem. I'll see you tomorrow.